Mm-hmm. Feels weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
the
it does.
first time.
It does, man. It does. It's like the first
Mhm.
time, man. It's like the first time. Whew. How's everybody doing, man? How's everybody doing on this fine Sunday? I hope you guys are good. I hope everybody's doing great. This is TBC 82. We're back after over a month. We've had a lot of stuff happen to us, all of us on a personal level, but I'm glad we're all back. Hopefully, we won't take this kind of break anymore, you know. But yeah, man, when life comes calling, you got to answer that bell, baby. That's the way it works. I hope everybody's doing okay. Thank you guys for being with us today. My name is Mo, Dr. Mo Mokauma. I'm here with, as always, my fucking sons. It's been a while, man. Kevin, Jordan, Michael. How you guys doing?
There we go.
How you guys doing? How's everybody doing?
Awesome. Feels good to be back,
Good,
boys.
good.
Yes, it does, man. Yes, it does. Absolutely. I was scrolling through when I was putting together the show, like the stuff we were going to talk about. We knew we were going to discuss, like, you know, a bunch of stuff we were playing and watching and whatever, as usual. And then I'm going back, like, through the news from like a month ago. I'm like, we're not gonna talk about this, you know. Like, I remember I was flipping through and I see like Suicide Squad is delayed until spring 2023. I'm like, oh, who cares at this point? Like, it's already old news, you know. News. So yeah, so we're gonna catch up with everybody, you know, and talk about what we've been playing and whatnot. And then obviously we're gonna go through some stuff, you know, just I feel like you know, some of the stuff that we wanted to discuss that we never got a chance to. So yeah, let's do it, baby. Let's go. First up, my son, Jordan. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good, Mo. I'm doing good. I miss all you guys. It feels like a reunion tour, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Holy
Except
crap.
we're not like super old.
No, we're not. We're
decrepit.
still just as
well, I mean, we're just as old as we were.
No. I think we're all more or less still whole. Still all got our bits, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know you were in Mexico. You didn't lose a kidney or anything, right, Kevin?
I did not. I did not
okay,
lose a
cool.
kidney. Not that I know of. If I did, they did a really good job.
Right. Mo, good switch with the orbital. I saw that. That was good. Switch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But, yeah, God, I'm just like trying to think of like what's been going on these past couple of weeks, man. Aside from just playing game stuff, if you guys want to just talk about a few, you know, personal life stuff, I am currently going through stuff at work right now, and we are talking about, well, this cat's out the bag now. No one cares. We're gonna unionize, okay?
That's my son.
It's just
nice.
It's weird thinking that working in the healthcare field as a provider, you know, just for your rights. So enough personal talk. All I'm saying is that things kind of suck right now at my clinic, but hopefully my colleagues and I can rally and make things, you know, for the better for all of us, and not just for ourselves, but so we can be our best versions of ourselves for our patients too. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Like I told you, man, that's that was a long time coming. That was a long time coming, bro. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Kevin, my son, how you doing, bro?
I am excited.
You had quite the month, man.
I did have quite the month. There was a lot going on. There was my kid went to Rome. I had a trip to Mexico that almost got canceled because my wife fell ill. She's doing okay now. You know, I tend to keep that shit close to the chest, but people that know me know what happened. And yeah, everything's on the up and up now. You know, spring's finally hitting, although it just snowed today in Idaho, of course.
Wild.
But I'm feeling good, man. Mexico was actually okay. You know, it was a nice time to just, you know, be with the wife, relax, get some sunshine, stayed at this huge resort, all you can eat. I had dessert with like every meal, as Jordan noticed.
Man, that's what's up.
Yeah, gained like 3 pounds. It was incredible. I drank a lot. A couple nights, and got pretty hammered during some of the shows, and almost drowned in a pool. So, you know, overall, I'd say I did quite well and got my money's worth. It was way better than foregoing, you know, the several $1,000s and staying home. So, but I am happy to be with my boys and with all the people in chat. I was super psyched that people still showed up.
Yeah, I know. We do appreciate you guys, you know, coming bullshit with us. Honestly, fucking missed you guys, man. This was great. You know what's funny is you just reminded me. I went to Cancun in 2016. At the time, it was before. It was actually like a few months before I got married. I went with my wife and her family, and the weather was kind of like pissy, and I didn't care. I was tired, man. I just wanted to fucking sleep and just eat, and And the funny thing is I knew it was an all-inclusive resort, but I didn't know about the drinks, right?
Oh,
so I had no idea. I didn't know. And I would like sneak drinks here and there. I don't I didn't want to like drink in front of like my wife's siblings and whatever. So I walk up to the bar and I'm asking the guy. I'm like, I forgot what I ordered. And then I'm like, how much do I owe you? He's like, sir, it's on the house. I'm like, what do you mean?
that's.
And then
funny.
he's like, it's
You're
an
in an
all-inclusive
all-inclusive.
resort. I go there, and he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my
let's go.
god! And I'm finding
Let's
this out
go.
48 hours. 48 hours.
2 days into it.
You know what's amazing? It's so easy to get drunk because everybody's buying each other drinks. So I'm
Let me
just
buy
getting
you a
handed.
drink. Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I'm just getting handed shots. I drank shit called butt rockets and Incredible
of
Hulks, and
Yes.
and it was so delicious, dude.
And
I had
then the
so many butt
monkeys,
rockets.
man. There was a stuff. I don't know what the fuck they mixed in it, but yeah, amazing stuff.
It was liquid like Jolly Rancher that got you
Oh
shit
my
faced.
gosh.
That's all it
Oh
was.
my
Some good
gosh.
stuff,
It was
man.
amazing. It was
Oh
amazing.
yeah, 48 hours.
Oh, that's too
That's-
funny.
All
that's
inclusive
That is
means
funny.
drinks as well. But,
Okay.
but hey, man, no, I'm glad you went. You guys had, I know you had a good time. You went at a good time. And
Yeah,
the thing
no,
is,
it was
like,
weather was great. Everything was good.
you know what's weird too, man, about vacation is because you go and you eat so much, you could literally feel yourself gaining weight.
Oh yeah, 100%.
know what I'm saying? Like, I know
my
it ain't
pants
just me.
were tighter. The seats were
Yes.
smaller when I got
fucking
back on
weird.
the plane on the way back. I swear to God, like my legs hurt from just like keeping this massive body upright during the second half of the
Oh my
trip
gosh.
with all the cheesecake that I ate and
Crazy,
fucking
man.
flan
It's,
up the
yeah.
ass, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
It's
my
so good.
God, it was amazing.
Whew,
It was amazing.
that's awesome, man. That's good shit. Michael,
Yo.
what's up, baby?
Chilling, man. I also had like quite a bit of stuff
Yes,
happen.
you did,
with
bro.
Had the kids and stuff. Stuff happen, like phases of life, and it's like, like whenever. I'll just use a dog for an example. When the dog grows up, we're talking a large dog, but when they're puppy and they're like their Charmeleon phase and they got weird long legs and their body's all disproportioned, and you're just like, we're working out the kinks right now. That's pretty much what's going on with like me
A
and my
lovely
fam or
analogy.
whatever. You got 2 little ones and an 11-year-old, and you're trying to, get the tuning fork out, whether
yeah.
you're whipping them or you're just trying to brainwash them into doing what you say or whatever. But yeah, so we had a big old kid thing with that, but it came with some pretty good like experiences. I fucking got to play Bloodborne with my 11-year-old daughter. Oh my god, that was a great
cool.
experience.
Okay.
Really?
Because we had to separate them like they're a bunch of velociraptors, kind of, you know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, tonight we're gonna play Bloodborne because she couldn't do anything else, you know what I mean. So I was like, if you want to have fun, you're gonna have my kind of fun, And we got to Yarnum,
Okay.
and besides the camera, everything was difficult. You know what I'm saying? So you get to
Okay.
Yarnum, but here was the thing though. Every single time she died and came back, she would literally get further, inch by inch, and she was just like, "I am shaking right now," and I was just like, "You feel it?"
How proud were you, bro?
It was just cool
awesome.
seeing her like think, and like you could tell she was scared, like running around back in a circle, like and I'm like, you feeling good, right? You like got to muster up the courage, and I just like it reminded me the first time playing a Soulsborne game where you are scared and you're like, I don't want to go past this area, man, because I just know they're gonna like fuck me up, and then I can't play anymore. I just got to restart or whatever it is, You could see that in her, and she doesn't play like hardcore games like that at all, but she was like, yeah, I'm about it. She went ham on the character creation screen, of course, with the makeup and all that stuff. She was like, this is really cool, Dad. She doesn't know video games beyond that, besides like, oh, look, you like look at my sword or whatever it is,
I love it, man.
but yeah, she was getting into it. My son's kind of getting into the Switch again, which is cool. Like I had a conversation about the Switch today too, where someone like, yo, is it worth buying basically? And I was like, honestly, dude, if you want one or the other answer, the answer is going to be no, man. It's not worth it, I would say. unfortunately, you know. But yeah, besides that, it has been a hell of a month. I'm actually kind of glad that the next few months of video games have kind of died down from all this.
Man.
Dude, I'm still playing fucking Elden Ring, bro. Like, and I'm not even.
We're about to get to it, bro. Yeah.
I feel dude, I feel like I'm so behind, but
Oh.
yeah, that's what I'm doing. You know, I am just like coasting along. Basically, any and all news to me is like pretty cool, but not that cool enough because I'm still just so in deep with Elden Ring. Though I'm just like I gotta fucking focus. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me, man.
That's awesome, dude.
Nice,
That's
man.
great. Yeah. Well, I don't know if my month was as eventful as you guys. I've been really fucking busy, man. I've been really busy with work, and I've actually been sleeping earlier, and it's been eating into my gaming time, and I'm like, who the hell am I, man? You know, like I would kill myself, right? Like even after 12, 13 hours of work, you know, I'd come home, sit with my wife and kids for a bit. I would still squeeze in like maybe 2 hours a night, you know, just to satisfy myself, I guess, you know, to for the FOMO. But I've been sleeping at like 10 o'clock, 10:30 sometimes.
Fucking
I'm
old
like,
man Mo.
yeah, I'm
man.
getting fucking old, man. I know.
It's all
Just a
good.
little
But still,
recharge. Just a little recharge.
It is,
all.
yeah, it is. It definitely has
It's
been.
healthy, man. That's,
Oh, yeah.
It is. It is.
It was like Mo spent more time unboxing statues
Yeah.
than he did sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what though?
Yeah.
I
Speaking
unboxed
of
them,
statues, Mo,
and then I box them back up because I don't have space. I do have this beautiful.
yeah, I saw that. I was like, damn,
Yeah,
that shit looks medieval in there, Mo.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, man, no, that's about it. So yeah, gaming, bro. We're trying to, you know, we're about to dive into what we've been playing and whatever. And let me, I'll start here. So yeah, I'm still playing Elden Ring. You know, I know Mike, you were just touching on that. Yeah, I'm like, I want to say probably like 75 hours in right now.
Okay.
And
Nice.
I'm making some good progress. And I've kind of like, I'm at a point where I don't want to finish the game unless I kill all the shard bearers. Some of them are optional.
Right.
I know some of them are optional, but I want to. Like, because I know once I get to the end of the game, I don't know if I'm going to like go back in and dick around in it. You know, like, I mean, I know some people like to do that. So I'm trying to maximize my play. Like, that's why I'm going so slow with it too. Obviously time and whatever, but I'm trying to like do as much as I can right now. And I'm loving every second of it because I know that this first experience with this game is going to resonate the best with me. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I'm not to make comparisons, but like with Cyberpunk, right? Like my first playthrough, my first run of the game was almost 150 hours. Right, and that was because I'm like, I know I'm not gonna like finish it and then come back in. Like one playthrough is one playthrough. Yeah, I'm gonna do another playthrough when they, you know, when I get a chance. But that's how I remember it, and that's how I want to remember Elden Ring. Like I just want to maximize as much as I can until I finish it. So the game is still incredible.
There it is.
You know, every time you know you get to a harder boss, and you know you're always like, you know. Shit. Oh no, I've hit my wall. I've hit my wall. But you don't. You don't. You know, every time you think you hit a wall, it's not a wall. You know, I mean, I told you
It really
guys,
is that you're just being a pussy.
yeah, that's probably that's pretty much what it is. Yeah. You know, because still like you still get that, you know, you still get that little hint of doubt. You know, like as soon as you step into what's it called, but then as soon as I get, it's so weird, man. As soon as I get one hit on the boss, as soon as I get my first hit, I'm like, okay, all right. And then I get my second hit and my third. And then like, even if I die, you know, 10 times, 15, whatever. Like I told you guys before, I'm at a point now where, yeah, you get that hint of doubt. But every time I walk into a boss's room, I'm like, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. I just need to figure out how I'm going to do it. Whereas like before, you know, pre-Elden Ring and my bitch days, you know, like I'm gonna be like, no, fuck this. I'm not gonna do this. You know, like I don't want to do this, whatever. But now it's a challenge. And then you know, because Jordan's always telling me, right? He's always like, hey man, if this guy's too hard, just move on, right? Like I mean, move on and come back. I'm like, no.
No.
You're like the fucking falling star the other day. I had no business fucking killing him, but I did. I wanted to, because I know I wasn't gonna come back, or I would have probably. I was either not gonna come back. I was either not coming back, or I was probably gonna forget. Right? I mean, it's a massive world, man. You're gonna forget some stuff. But yeah, I love the challenge, man. That's always like every time every boss I'm like challenge accepted, challenge accepted, challenge accepted. I'm gonna do it. So it's
the old steamroll method, Homo.
It's unbelievable, man. It's I can't say enough about it. So yeah, there's that. Ghostwire Tokyo. I know Jordan's got some stuff to say about that as well. Ghostwire Tokyo is a game I was looking forward to a lot. It's good. I'd say it's rated exactly where it should be, in my opinion. I think the combat gets pretty repetitive. You know, you get like different stuff. The aesthetic of the game is fucking awesome, right? Like, I mean, I remember like the first 10, 15 hours, I was like, wow, this is really fucking cool, right? Like, I mean, with just the hand animations and whatever, and the world itself and the premise. But unfortunately, it starts to get repetitive. You know, like, I mean, you're not like you're offered different move sets, you know, like different elemental weapons or whatever they are, but it's the same, right? And then Jordan, I'm gonna let you touch on that too. But the really cool thing about Ghostwire Tokyo is it's more of a discovery of Tokyo itself, you know, and Japanese lore. And the stuff, you know, like, what are they called? Like urban legends in Japanese culture, things like that, right? Like you really start to see a lot of this stuff, and it's pretty cool. Jordan said it's basically like a discovery game. You know, it's like a culture game with combat in it. And that's fine, right? Like, I mean, but I don't think combat is front and center. It's not. It's got a cool premise. I'm not done with it yet. But yeah. That's kind of like where I am with that. And then Kirby's awesome, man. This is my first Kirby game that I play. It's so it's such a it's nice, it's unique, it's cute, you know. I mean, so then there was what else did I fucking play? I know there was one more. Oh god, yeah, Tiny Tina. I haven't even touched it yet. Lego Star Wars. My son Brad, I know he's a big Star Wars fan. He's in here. I played Lego Star Wars. It's awesome. It's fun. It looks great. It's a huge game. Oh my god, it's huge. There's so much in it. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And by the way, the Lego game is gorgeous. It's a brand new engine. The visual fidelity is excellent. Kevin, I remember the other day you were mentioning some shit about some guy who's like PS5 runs it in 1440p. It's a Lego game, you know, like just some fucking stupid shit. I'm like, bro, have you played this game? You know, like, I mean, Lego game or not, the game is beautiful. Like the fidelity on it is excellent. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's where I've been. I want to get to the Halo series too, but I think we'll all talk about that after.
Yeah.
Jordan, my son, what have you been playing, bro?
A lot, man. I did want to really go back to your Elden Ring stuff real quick because
yes.
There's no wrong way to play it, but my advice is always like, if you hit that wall, put a marker on the map because that's what it's for, and then come back to it later so you won't fucking forget, old man.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
I knew that was coming. I so knew that was coming. Oh, man.
Mike and I like.
I saw your face. And I was like, should I say the markers? Whatever.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, I did finish my second run of Elden Ring, and I blew through that game on New Game Plus, and it was about kind of what I expected. I was kind of hoping for a little more challenge, but I told myself that I was gonna remix my build, but no, I still kept my dex and strength up. So I was just like full on committed, dual wielding 2 katanas, no blocking, just dodging and just literally mopping through every boss. Only time, yes, every single boss. Except for like the last few. Otherwise, it was a cakewalk, honestly.
Oh wow!
But
and that's on Plus.
That's on Plus. And when I finished my first playthrough, I did the same thing you did. I was trying to kind of get, squeeze out every last drop of that game. And there was an optional boss encounter that I did end up missing, which I did go back to on my second playthrough, and it was an incredible boss fight. Holy smokes! But I'm excited for you, man, and you're making some solid progress. Mike and I were actually talking about possibly doing a co-op of the Volcano Manor maybe sometime this week.
I
Maybe,
am at
maybe.
the end of that right now. Well, at least like the main dungeon.
Yeah.
That's because I was telling you about the boss I'm at right now, and
It's a tough area. It's a
that's
tough area.
that's a tough area, dude. That is a
Good job,
tough
man.
area, and I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
I was not
yeah.
expecting that because I was actually
Like
telling
y'all, the area, not only the dungeon probably, but the area itself.
Correct,
Is,
yeah.
To me as well, like I'm surviving every fucking trek.
Yes.
Like
Yes,
every grace period, I'm like trying to be like, I gotta fucking bring my game, dude.
Definitely.
And it got to a
Definitely.
point to where it like wore me out a little bit. I told you guys about that a little bit, and I was like, I literally had to be in a mindset to play Elden Ring, and because it was just such a fucking sorry,
Yeah.
no. What were you saying, brother?
No, I wasn't saying anything, man. Walter White, yes. You know, I'll double up on it and I'll say fuck the Godskin normal dude, bro.
Godskin.
That guy gave me
Great.
fits yesterday, man.
Great enemy. Great freaking enemy.
He
But,
is a great enemy, though. He is a great enemy,
but yeah, aside from Elden Ring though, I finished Ghostwire today.
you
And
did.
I did.
Awesome,
And
okay.
I would agree with you. It's I don't know exactly where it scored. Is it around like what, seven?
Half
7,
like
8?
mid 70s.
75,
Yeah,
yeah.
mid 70s.
The meme is it's a 7, but it's a 7 in my
Yeah.
book. Yeah, I do, which is not a bad game. It's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily what I wanted out of it because I was, again, like you, I was very excited about this. It's definitely a wonderful representation of Tokyo, and I believe it's the Shibuya district. But yes, it is very much a first-person adventure game that's masquerading as a combat game. It's literally, once you get your fire and water power, you've seen everything it has to offer in terms of combat, as outside from like the ability to throw a stun talisman or a increased damage talisman. But very, 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 very repetitive for me, anyways. But that was kind of where it lost me a bit. The story is okay. It had a pretty cool wrap up, but side missions didn't do much. It was basically a very, very, very simplified version of how the Far Cry games play through. You get an ever expanding map with more icons, and it just was never compelling to me. The combat is just literally, you just imagine the animations are gorgeous, but again, the movement is very stiff. You have this block mechanic that only mitigates some damage. It doesn't absorb all of it unless you get a parry. The enemies are cool. Like I said, you have like a lot of like you touched on, Mo, and a lot of it's really deeply rooted in actual Japanese folklore. I mean, like a lot of the submissions have you tracking down. There's this thing called a kappa, which is basically a frog, and it's a very fun mechanic. You basically have to stealth and just follow it, and then sneak attack it, just like you do everything else to get an upgrade charm. And then oh wait, there's another one. I'm gonna say it wrong. Karakasa Kozo. It's a paper umbrella. Guess what you have to do? You have to follow it, and then you have to sneak attack it. And then the Eton moment. It's a giant flying paper thing. You have to follow it and then sneak attack it. It's like,
Yeah. It's
So,
repetitive, dude.
It is. But I think people that are really into, again, just reading text in games and just kind of learning more about folklore, historical stuff. There's a lot of stuff there for those folks. It just didn't grab me to that level. But it's not a bad game. It just wasn't exactly what I wanted of it. I finished Weird West as well.
Nice,
and
man.
Was
Shit,
that
you're
quick?
busy.
That was a quick play.
It was
then.
not. It was not a quick
It
play.
wasn't?
It was
Okay.
not a quick
All
play.
right. Never mind.
Cool.
You just stayed up really late.
It was. I did. It was cool. I mean, for those that don't know, it's the studio Wolfeye, I believe. The creative director is one of the creative minds that made the Dishonored games. So I was immediately you could, as soon as you fire it up and like even looking at like the character portraits and things, you can see that kind of arcane DNA. But the gameplay has a lot of just kind of very, very interesting mechanics at play, and the story is actually a lot cooler than I thought it would be. But some of the combat gets a little bit wonky. It plays like an isometric or like a top-down ARPG. But the stealth is pretty sweet, I will say that. Tunic, I beat Tunic. I know it's been a long time. I played a lot of games. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
you
have,
did.
bro. Holy
Um,
shit.
Keep going, baby.
Tunic was really cool though. Initially, when I first started playing it, I kept making comparisons to Death's Door because let's be honest, it feels like that. But it stands out on its own really well. It does a lot of really cool things. I was really impressed just how it rewarded kind of exploration. Yeah, just like Death's Door, it had like those little hidden paths you could go around to if you were to like watch the silhouette of your character go behind the wall. But later on, as the game goes on, you start to figure out the importance of the whole in-game manual, which is representative of like your old school, paper manuals that you would get. And as you kind of flip through the pages, it teaches you like how to do a certain mechanic that you probably wouldn't have known unless you figured out the input by yourself. And it's really like there's a very cool light bulb moment that happens when you figure those things out. There is some issues with the combat towards the end of the game for me. Parry system, not that good, but I had a great time with it. I had a really good time with it. And
Parry
then
system.
beyond last but not least, I know Elu here. He's a huge fan of it because he's not playing it. Wonderlands. But Walter is though. Walter has played a lot of it, and Wonderlands is gonna be freaking awesome from what I've played so far. I know, Kevin, I told you I wouldn't play while you were on vacation.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I cheated.
I just picked it up too, and I started. So.
I played like up until the Butt Stallion Castle.
But Stallion.
Yeah, that game is fantastic. It's going to be even better with some friends. So I know for those who don't know here, Mo buys every single game that comes out, and in our DMs he's like, "Hey guys, I think I'm going to return Wonderlands. I'm not going to play it."
What?
What the fuck changed? What changed? All of a sudden, like just because you're not going to play it, you're going to return it?
That lasted all for 1 hour.
Yeah. He must be looking at his checkbook or some shit. He's a Thursday night, and you're like, damn.
I was seriously just because I was looking at it, and I'm like, okay, like, but there's nothing else to buy right now, right? That's the thing. Like, I mean, I'm pretty much maximized all the new shit that's out right now.
We're gonna get you in there, baby. We're gonna get you in there.
That's the thing. And realistically, no, I was because I was looking at my experience with Jordan and Elu with Borderlands 2, right? I like to play games on my own to kind of like dive into the lore and whatnot. And I started that game, like that was my first experience with Borderlands, and I started it right away in co-op. So when you're in co-op, you guys, we're bullshitting in the party chat. You're not really catching anything. You don't really connect with these characters. You don't find them as funny as they are when you're first, seeing them and whatnot. So it just didn't resonate with me much. And then I thought about that with Tiny Tina, and I'm like, do I really want to do this? Like, with considering that I'm not a Borderlands fan. I know, I'm sorry, it's blasphemy, but I swear it's, I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. I've just never really had a proper chance to dive into it. Just full disclosure, but yeah, I just fucking kept it, man. I know I'm gonna have a good time with it with you guys, so
yeah, you definitely
I might as well.
You definitely will, man. And it was a running joke when we were in our party chats when talking smack about you behind your back. I'm sorry. we're like, yeah, Mo would like we'd finish a combat encounter like early game Borderlands, and Mo would spend like 5 minutes going to inventory.
Yes.
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
So this revolver here says it does 86 damage. The reload is
drove them nuts, dude. I drove it because I'm like, I don't know this shit. I don't know this stuff, right? And these guys are like flying through it. I'm like, motherfuckers, you wanted to play with me.
So that is very much still core of the game in Wonderlands. But again, you're just gonna get the mindset to just pick if it's green, pick it up and toss the other shit.
Yeah.
But it's not as high stakes with the characters here. Not that the writing was never like bad per se, but you can still have a good time even though if you're loosely kind of picking up story beats there too. But I feel like we'll be able to kind of oh, something's happening. Let's all just kind of quiet down for a second. But I know that the stat thing was definitely what probably may have kind of stifled your momentum throughout that time
big
playing
time.
there.
I think it triggered his OCD.
Yes,
get over it.
It did. Yes. It definitely. He's right. It did. Because I kept having to slow down and open the menu and look at shit, and I'm like, man, and these guys are like, well, yeah, don't pay, I have to ask questions. That's the way I am, right? Like even like with
I
Elden
need to
Ring,
know.
Like Elden Ring, the first couple of weeks, I was like, "Hey, this." Like, I'm just asking because I can't play unless I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so and then with these guys, I'm like, all right, they have the experience, so I might as well, And they're telling me they're like, "Hey, just focus on this, focus on this." I'm like, "Yeah, but what is this now?" Yeah, I know you're saying this, but what's this? So that shit really slowed me down. I think I have to. I have to. What's it called? I have to approach it differently. Let me see what Elu said here. Thing is, with games like that, Diablo, the items are meant for exactly 3 seconds of use. Scrutinizing them comes, when stuff really matters. Yeah, and you know what, Elu? Speaking of Diablo 3, I love you, man. Honestly, because Diablo 3 was my first Diablo experience. And he, man, bless his heart, he just explained everything, man. Everything. It was because of him that I kept playing, and I loved it. So, props to you, man. Slider Hand said something over here. Replay Max Payne 3. Dude, Kevin is right. I could play Max Payne 3 forever. And you know what? We're going to talk about the Max Payne remakes later. I'm still kind of salty that they left out 3 like that, like a redheaded stepchild. So, yeah. Anyway. Whatever. My fucking son, Bomber. My motherfucking son. To have you here. Anyway, yeah, man, that's good shit. So everybody wants to know your secret. Somebody was saying that apparently you cloned yourself earlier. Yeah, listen, guys. When Jordan got his PlayStation 5, that was his first PlayStation. Okay, just let me tell you guys. This is before I move on to Kevin, real quick. He played every major PlayStation release on the PS4. Do you guys know how big the PS4 library is? I'm talking from God of War to all the Uncharteds, 1 through 4.
Horizon.
Horizon he didn't finish, but I don't blame him.
Last of Us.
Last of Us 2. Oh my God,
it was
Ghost
like
of
300
Tsushima.
hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So if you guys think that there's definitely more than 2 of him, Brand, I'll tell you.
3 Jordans.
World would be a better place. All right, Mike. Kevin, what have you been playing, man? I know
I'm on my ninth run of Elden Ring. I'm playing it on every console. I've platinumed it 1,000. No, I didn't. I've shelved it because it required entirely too much dedication. I might return to it eventually. We'll see. But I did start Ghostwire Tokyo before I went on vacation. Okay. And I'm kind of with you guys. Like, I think I've seen almost everything there is to see, and I think I've played 15 hours, maybe-ish. Like I'm probably halfway through the story. I'm taking it slow. Okay. It's pretty. I like the culture, and I will finish it. But I don't know. I don't know what it's almost like it was a walking simulator that they threw a little bit of combat into. Yep. And the story's kind of neat, and the urban legends are probably the best. Like, even the little side quests and the little, like, raccoons that I've been finding, or whatever the fuck they are. All that shit is pretty cool, right? Cool, and I was disappointed. Are they not raccoons? They're not trash pandas?
They're trash pandas, yeah.
Okay, all right. They're fucking trash pandas.
I really like it. It's just so stupid.
They're Japanese trash pandas.
Don't forget the Nekomata, the cats.
Yes. And you get to pet things, and the cats that are floating on their backs in the bodegas. I mean, it's kind of trippy. And then I did a quest where some dude was taking like the most violent shit and couldn't go into the spirit world without wiping his ass. I'm not even making it up. That is the quest, and I had to go get him a roll of toilet paper. All right, you had to go get him a roll of fucking toilet paper, and then the motherfucker is groaning, and it's like, and you have to go get him another one, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? So then once you get him both,
I read about this
entire rolls of toilet paper, and he wipes his gigantic, never-ending cavernous asshole. He finally like needed to take this shit to go to the ghost world. I don't know, bro, but
that's amazing.
There are some neat quests. There's definitely like some Japanese shit I do not get because of all of this whiteness. Someday I hope to go to Japan. Actually, it's one of my bucket list places. I
Yeah,
really do
definitely,
want to go
bro.
to Japan and experience some of this and have people laugh at me for being fat and American. And I want the whole cultural experience.
Oh, yeah.
But I will finish it. It's just it kind of disappointed me, I guess, in a way. But I think once I come to terms with it and play it in a different way, I think I'll finish it and enjoy it enough. I think the ratings are probably on par. What I am excited about is that it opens up another avenue for those the Tango Gameworks, right? Because they've always done the Evil Withins, and those are always third person. And this is venturing away from that, and it's creative. It was risky, and I hope it does well enough to continue on, and maybe they'll come out with some cool shit. And then I played a couple matches. I want to mention Fortnite real quick. Because I believe Fortnite got upgraded semi recently. I haven't played in fucking years. Okay, semi recently to Unreal Engine 5, and it looks.
Did it?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not sure if this is on consoles, maybe just PC. Regardless, I booted up. I think it's the first time I've actually played it on my OLED. It looks gorgeous. The fucking game looks amazing. Like, they've done a great job with the characters, too. Like, they have the best Marvel characters, the best out of any fucking game you play.
It's the best live service game, bro.
I know. And the way that they do shit is incredible. I will not play it. I'm not going to become a Fortnite stan. But, a match here, a match there would be kind of fun with you guys. They have a zero build mode now, so you don't have to fucking build at all. And I came in second on my first match. So, I mean, if that says anything, and I suck, because building would always just destroy me.
We got a good player on our team.
And I will definitely, be tuning in if they keep this zero build on, because, now I just have to worry about shooting people and not dying instead of shooting people, building doors and windows and getting in and getting out and getting trapped inside. And, it's just all fuckery. But, yes, it looks incredible. So if you haven't booted it up recently, like I hadn't in years, I'm like Doctor Strange, that model comes up, and it looks amazing. Like, they do a fucking fabulous job.
We're gonna
everybody can learn from Epic Games and what they're doing in Fortnite.
Even Ains installed it recently. He's been playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the zero build got some of his oldies back in there, because the coordination and the level of attention you need to be able to succeed in the build mode is a lot. I mean, it requires a lot from you. Yeah. And here it kind of it's easier to me. Okay. So anyway, if you haven't in a while, jump back in. I mean, it's fucking free. I had like 3,000 V-Bucks just sitting there. I might even buy the damn battle pass. So I played a couple matches of that. That was fun. All right. Podcast's over. Let's go. Mike, I will totally play with you. I will totally play with you.
Oh yeah, dude. We should, man. I'm serious.
We will do it. Dude, George's clone is.
I've been trying.
He just went to go install the game real quick.
Wow.
Right? I had a good time.
All right. Thanks.
Stop.
Install the game, bitch.
Yeah, go install. We gotta play.
Oh my god. Oh, man. That's such awesome news, Kev, by the way, though. I'm so happy that, because I remember telling, like, not only you guys, but like other group guys about it. I got the same fucking reaction, like, get the fuck out of here.
I know. And I had the same reaction when I forget who mentioned it, and they're like, no, really install. I'm like, fuck you. What are we gonna play, Roblox next? We're gonna fucking play Minecraft next? What the fuck? Do I look like no? But anyway, I'm a hypocrite, and Fortnite's not too bad.
That's good though, man.
It's fun, and they do a lot of things right. I spent most of my morning actually playing Alan Wake, the remaster, and that's why I tweeted that it was one of Remedy's best games, and I still think it is one of Remedy's best games. And the remaster fixes almost all of the fucking issues I had originally. It sharpens it up, it makes the controls tighter. It is a good fucking game, man, and that story is amazing, and it's getting me kind of hyped for Alan Wake 2.
Yeah.
It's just dark, and you gotta kind of like the woods and trees, but if you're okay with lots of woods and darkness and trees and want to get immersed in a fucking like Stephen King novel and play through one, Alan Wake is just an incredible experience. And there really isn't I look back and I don't know that there's any other game quite like Alan Wake. That's why I think it hits me the way it does. Like, Control is fucking weird, Quantum Break is fucking weird, but Alan Wake is just downright spooky and dark and it's just different. It's different enough, and it's simple but not too simple. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing too complicated. There's nothing to manage. There's no map. You just kind of go and you get immersed in. And I think that simplicity is nice in a world of, you know, Assassin's Creed HUDs, you know, and that's kind of what people were saying about Elden Ring. Right. And that's kind of what I feel about Alan Wake. It was it's kind of like in this golden era of gaming where it just worked, you know, and people didn't need more. And it was just, people were content with a game that fucking worked, and you kept moving forward, and there was an end in a reasonable time frame.
That's cool.
But yeah, I'm gonna finish Alan Wake. I think I'm more than halfway through now. I might just finish it this week or tonight. And Tiny Tina's Wonderlands I picked up finally, and I fucking love this game, dude. Like, people are saying that it is more Borderlands, and it is, right? But I think they learned a lot from the reception of Borderlands 3 and fixed some of that. Like, I just can tell that the comedy's a little more dialed back, but not so much that it's cringy, right? I mean, it's
great.
good. It's the best. It's the best Borderlands, I think, to date. Period. Like, and I really, really have a soft spot for Borderlands 1, just the original. I really loved it. This brings me back to that in terms of the writing and the creativity, and everybody's having a good time with it. I love the whole like board game aesthetic and Tiny Tina interrupting you all the time, and she's got a great personality, and there's not too many people on the field talking all at once, so it's not super confusing. The story's kind of charming. It's just a good game, and it runs solid. And yeah, I have no complaints. I definitely feel like Tiny Tina's gonna be, you know, played for a while, and I hope there's DLC, and I'm sure there will be. But yeah, best Borderlands yet. I really do think they took some of that criticism and tweaked it, and, you know, just kind of redeemed themselves with this. So
Love it.
that's that's kind of what I've been diving into. I think my main goal is to, Alan Wake. I want to finish that, and then I want to play either Fortnite or Tiny Tina with my boys, because it's been too long, and we need to get on. We need to get on. Party chat, baby.
I think Fortnite is probably going to happen. You know what's fucked up about Fortnite? My PlayStation account. I can't link my PlayStation account and what's it? Have a good night, Brian. Thanks for popping in, buddy. I can't link my PlayStation and my Xbox account together because it was at that time where it was only linked to one account. It's so shitty, man. So like on my
you gotta bring one over.
Yeah, and I couldn't do that. So on my PlayStation account, I have all of my stuff. I have my Kratos skin. I have my Master Chief skin.
Yeah, you'll lose it all.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna lose it all if I migrate over to the Xbox one. And unfortunately, but
so I just did that earlier today, and I had two, because again, it was the time when and then I missed they had a period of like 3 months where you could join them. And I missed that because I wasn't.
How do you
fucking
guys
playing
know
it.
all this stuff?
Because I fucking Googled it. So then luckily though, I was able. I didn't have anything on my PlayStation 1, so I brought it over. So I have all my console accounts on one email, and then like my PC account, which has all those free games that I don't want to get rid of, on another email. But I'll never join them. You know, they're gonna be fucking two separate accounts.
Yeah, they're gonna be two separate ones. It's so annoying, dude.
Whatever. It's fucking bullshit.
It is.
I know.
It is for sure. Yeah, Mike. What have you been playing, bro?
Quite a few things. Not as much as Jordan. Fairly impressive, my friend. I like hearing
Jordan's
like
three people, though.
Yeah. By the way, chat, you looking sexy up in here. Just had to say, miss you guys. So PlayStation Plus free games of last month. UFC 4. I know. You're like, those fucking trailer
Fighting
trash UFC. Yeah, fighting games.
Everybody loves UFC.
You aggressive fuck. Anyways, no, and dude, because my buddy he was like, yo, man, I've been playing this. He was offline, and I was like, yo, bro, why you been offline? Anyways, he's like, oh, he spilled the beans. I've been playing this UFC game. I'm like, really? And I'm like, what's that like? I've played Mortal Kombat and stuff with him, so he's like savvy of what happens. You know what I mean? And so it took me like a week to download this UFC game, but I was like, you know what, whatever. Like, I at least want to try it because I'm curious on how they do such a realistic way, if that makes sense. You know, they even got grappling and shit too, Mo. You know what I mean? So they got like two different fighting styles where it's either the stand up, you can go high or low, and you can block high or low, and the kicks are high or low, and the punches are high and low. But dude, like I don't know when UFC 4 came out. I think it came out in like 2020, 2019, somewhere around there, dude. But I was just so impressed.
I'm sorry. This is Jordan logging into Xbox so he can download Fortnite.
Download Fortnite? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I had to bring that up.
That's what he's doing right now.
The notification on my phone. All right, yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
no, you're good. So anyways, I started jamming on it with him, just 1v1, just stand up. That was it because I didn't want to learn like through the tutorials. This was like a quick bit.
Yeah.
But dude, I was so impressed with it. We played it all night long and I had such a blast with it. It looks good. If it didn't have the UFC IP and the skin was like something fanatical or something like that, you know, like, oh, fighters or whatever, this dude can shoot a fireball without the fireballs. Like, dude, the UFC games are pretty fucking awesome. Whenever you do knockouts or it does highlights, dude, you get the full-blown punch, the skin wrinkles in slow-mo, the blood.
That's how Fight Night was, man.
Dude, it is. Dude, so every time you like knock out your buddy, dude, we are just cracking up at these like axe kicks to the face. It's like bloop, bloop, bloop. Oh man, you just like fold over, dude. Like Uncanny Valley, man. It's so fucking fun, dude. The only bad side about it is like they didn't think beyond like, okay, either like 2 players are gonna fight or players online are gonna fight, and then there's story mode. That was it. Like, you can't do like arenas or tournaments or anything like that like you can do in other fighting games. So I don't know if that was like a critique on the game or whatever. But dude, what a blast, no lie. Sleeper PlayStation Plus game. If you're into fighting games and you like have a homie that just like, you know, want to have fun or whatever, it is so fun, dude. And like rounds last for like 5 minutes. You know, you got your 5-minute matches. So you're not just going ham like, yeah, like Rock'em Sock'em Robots or whatever. It's not like that, you know. It's like very... like you're backing up, going forward, backing up, like letting them whiff a shot. But the skin, dude, the skin jelly was just, it's so fun to look at. I'm sorry. But anyways, I also, and Dash, you're going to love this if you're still in here. Dude, I literally, the moment you fucking posted that picture on Twitter, Dash, about Metal Gear Revengeance, bro, I would like just turned it off. And I was like, oh my God, my boy knows.
Amazing, bro.
Dude.
That game is amazing.
Raiden's entrance is so fucking G. He walks out. Okay, so he's in the back of the limo. He's like talking about how great justice is and shit. Yeah. Anyways, he walks out of the limo. He throws his tux off and he's holding that case, you know? And the sword like magnetizes out of the case. And he grabs it and he gets in his stance. He's like, let's make this quick. And his fucking eye thing comes down. I am like, no shit. Every cutscene in that game, bro, is like intense. It's like very intense and action packed. Not on that like Japanese where you're like, okay, this is like over the top Devil May Cry area. No, this is fucking sexy, bro. And when you catch the Metal Gear and his sword or whatever it is, and that Rules of Nature song is going on, please tell me you guys know Rules of Nature, man.
I played
Rules of Nature. Oh, dude, and he's like, whoa, Jordan, have you played this game before?
You never
Metal
played
Gear Solid
Revengeance.
Revengeance? I've only played the demo. I have it downloaded on my Xbox, though. I have not touched it.
So good.
Dude, the cutscenes, the gameplay, everything about it is like
over the top.
Like it makes no. It, like, okay, so it is over the top, but it's so cool. It's not like oh, it's over the top. It's like, whoa, it's over
not,
the top.
yeah, like it's not like I'm sorry, Mike.
No, go.
Jordan,
Yeah,
I know
Mo.
what you mean. It's not like that. It's not like that bombastic fucking
Yeah.
shit that you and I
Nano
don't
machine,
like.
son.
You know, like it's over the top. It's fucking batshit crazy, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Right? You're
Yeah.
like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
It's usually like that's pretty much how it is. So it's so enjoyable, man.
It is that good. That good. And the parry system, you slice them up, whatever. It's so, oh man, it's so good. The music is good. It's like on par with one of the best action games, man. Speaking of, that gave me the little fire and the spark, man. I started playing Devil May Cry 5 again. And once again, dude, blown away by that combat.
I need to get
Nobody
that shot
does
again.
it better. I don't know who they have up in that Capcom, like Devil May Cry department, thinking of combat, dude. But dude, hands down, best combat. Like I was like jumping in my seat the other last night playing it because
It feels
they
good.
thought of it all, dude. They thought of it
feels good,
all.
man. Yeah,
Any
feel that.
you could be mashing and not knowing what you're doing, and the character is like jiving, and you can like feel the synergy between you and the
yeah.
buttons, at least for the most part. But then once you start honing in those like types of button inputs, dude, you are like,
All right.
like it literally reminds me of like, oh yeah, this fuck, because I've been playing Elden Ring, guys, and like that has like worn me the fuck out in a good way. I'm not saying, you know what I mean, but it's just because I'm trying to do everything. I'm 130 hours in. I'm going to every dungeon. I'm marking everything with that I skip or miss or whatever. I go back. I gotta like. I'm like sitting there 30 minutes in like the thinking position, being like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, whatever, yeah.
Yes, Mike.
And then I'll turn it on and like I'll get after it. And sometimes I don't get to where I plan out, and I don't, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, whoo, this is such a. It's such, like Kevin said, man. It's such a commitment. It's such
Elden Ring's
like,
a grind, man. It's
yeah,
a grind.
it's a brain power game for sure.
it is. Oh,
And it just makes me appreciate the older games too, man, because, you know, I do the whole Dark Souls lore thing like I did, play the game, watch videos, play the game, watch videos, get motivated to play the game, but then get your ass whooped because you're motivated and you're like, what the fuck? I thought this was going to be a good time. And you're like, they're like, nah, man, you're dying from dogs and stuff like that, whatever. The last boss I fought was Margot. Or I got the Shaded Castle, but whatever. The last shard bear I got was Margot. And like, I've been watching fucking, what's that, Robert Downey Jr., Elementary Dear Watson, Sherlock Holmes.
I love those movies, man.
Dude, and Sherlock is like telling his buddy about like, oh, you got a knife in your cane. You're like a veteran, probably a strong-willed. You know how he does all that psychological breakdown. When I see Margot and he breaks his fucking cane, I'm like, oh, you're a man of strength yourself, huh, Mr. Sword and Cane? I couldn't help myself. But man, that game's aesthetic is wonderful, though. But anyways, because Elden Ring was just so like, you know, mentally strong, dude, getting back on these other fast-paced fighting like action games or whatever, I was like,
A different feel for sure.
dude, it felt like I was putting on old shoes, you know what I'm saying? We're like, ooh, baby, these feel good, let's roll with it. But yeah, good times, man. And then I've been watching Moon Knight, man.
Look what
There you go.
Look at you guys. What? I feel like I'm gonna be behind the curve
Mike,
here. I love it.
I'm gonna play Revenge.
we're all
okay?
installing, man. Yeah,
I'm gonna play
I might as
Revengeance.
well.
I'm gonna play Revengeance. You got it.
It's
Man,
really good.
If you
man.
could stream that, Jordan.
I hope. Listen, you know what? I do hope that they. I hope that they end up. I hope that they end up enhancing it, or not even enhancing it. I just hope that they that it takes advantage of the the fuck is it called?
HDR and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
the enhanced FPS thing that the Series X has.
The
I think it
360
will.
games do that.
Do they? I don't know if all
know
of
if
them
they
do,
do.
because I played Max Payne 3 and I played a Ghost Recon Future Soldier, and they do not. They were both in 30 FPS.
Yeah, like
It
there's a
looked
little
good.
bit of blur. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you got
I
that.
can deal with it. It's
Okay.
old gen, so
No,
I
they-
Like,
can-
I got a
look-
clip. It's
But
fucking
if they
lit,
do,
son.
because that game feels so much better in 60.
Yeah.
I played it on Steam, and man, yeah, it was. It's pretty
I'm
special,
gonna-
man. It's so
I'm gonna
fun
do
to
it.
play.
I'll make
Yeah,
it happen.
for
It's
sure.
backlog. It's backlog season anyway.
100%. Oh yeah. Yeah. All right, man. That's cool. Now, before we get into the main stuff, let me ask you guys about. I wanted to ask you about Halo, the
Yep, let's
series.
do it. Let's do
The
it.
series. We're gonna talk about Halo twice tonight. First, the series, which we're not gonna take up too much time with, and then obviously Halo Infinite later on. So, full disclosure, obviously you guys know, Jordan and I were big slappies of the of Halo. So, You know, that's the thing. That's why I love talking about it, man. I like talking about Halo with people who love Halo, or at least like who I know are not clout chasers, because you know that any criticism comes from a good place. Kind of like this morning on SG when they were talking about, you know, Halo Infinite and the state and whatnot. So anyway, the series, I like where it's going. I think the story is interesting. I had a problem with, you know, initially with, maybe I still kind of do, you know, with how many how extended the scenes are with Chief out of his helmet. Now, I don't want a complete retell of the games, obviously, you know, like, I mean, I'm all for a different iteration, a different take, you know, obviously it's an alternate timeline, you know, that takes place. And I felt like at some point they're making him too vulnerable. You know, I mean, we've been used to Chief for 20 years now, you know, with him being like this figure, you know, like, I mean, we've seen him conflicted, you know, we've seen him conflicted, we've seen him mourn, you know, I mean, if you played Halo Infinite and you see like how he mourns all the Spartans who he finds that are dead, you know, or like you can see the regret on him without even seeing his face. You know, I mean, if you played the Halo Infinite, you know, and then like this whole thing that happens with Cortana, you know, after 5 and really at the end of 4, you know, and this regret that he has, it's implemented very well, right? Like, I mean, and that's really, you got to credit the storytelling there, because they're able to convey that to you, the player, without seeing any facial animation. And I think that's pretty special. So they've been able to convey emotion with Chief before, and now they're doing it behind the mask, you know, I guess, if you want to say, like, they're doing it with his mask off. And I don't know still how I feel about that. I like where they're going with it, because like there's an element to it. I don't want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, but there's an element to it. Like, I mean, it's more of him discovering his humanity, I guess, if you want to say, right? Like, I mean, he's been subdued his entire life,
right?
And now like he's kind of not. You know, like, I mean, there's something happens and it kind of like triggers something in his brain. So I like that angle. And I'm still trying to get like my brain to kind of, you know, come to terms with seeing this, right? Like seeing human Chief, you know, not super soldier Chief, you know, not our Chief, you know. So I don't know if I can get past that. I think I'm gonna enjoy it more, and I am enjoying the show. I do like where they're going with the story. Like I said, I think Cortana's fucking scenes last episode was unbelievable. She was implemented so fucking good. I mean, man, like when I saw her, I was like it's like some sort of normalcy was brought back. You know, like, I mean, there was a sense of familiarity just seeing her, and just the way that they did it, right? Like, initially, you guys remember when they first showed Cortana, they're like, what the fuck is this? Why does she look like this? She's not blue, she's brown, you know, all this shit. And forget that.
Yeah.
They did a great job with her. She's a little overzealous, you know, considering that she's a brand new AI. But yeah, so far I think it's interesting. I like the direction they're going in. But Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, man. So we are 3 episodes in, and it's so funny because we haven't had time to talk about this at all. But everything you said, I would agree with. You know, I think my biggest gripe aside from the liberties that it's taking with the source material, my biggest complaint is mostly just the uneven production. You know, sometimes the writing is a bit and sometimes the visual stuff is a bit and the pacing can be a bit off, but Growing Pains, possibly. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because, again, like you said, I'm a little bit biased with my love for the IP. But it's cool. I do like it. The Cortana scene, like you said, was pretty awesome. You know, mostly just hearing Jen's voice. I was like, oh, yes, a familiar voice. Oh,
that's really what sold it too, man. Right? It's her.
Yeah. But I will say I really do like Pablo Schreiber. I was talking to Pat in a chat, you know, after watching the pilot episode, and you know, when they first did that helmet, you know, the face reveal, I really bought that scene, you know, when he was like, you have to aim right here, if you want to kill me. I was like, okay. Like
Mhm.
it was convincing. Like, yes, there's a lot of time when they're showing his face, but I think a lot of that has to do with just some of maybe just the constraints of the storytelling and how they want to convey this as, he's a person, he's not a machine. And there's some funny writing here and there, like, Quan's like, what do you eat? He's like, nuts, bolts, microchips. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cheesy, but all right. I do like some of the sounds that they've been using. Like, they have the exact sound of the shield charge, the active camo sound, the doors opening up. All of those sounds are ripped straight from the games.
What? I thought they didn't play the game.
I know, right?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I dig it. There was also a funny line in the very first episode when they go to that cave in Madrigal. Riz goes, "This cave does not appear to be a natural formation." I'm like, oh my god. Straight out of Cortana's mouth right there. But I'm digging it. Like I said, there's some weird things that they're doing, but I am curious. But that game, without revealing too much as far as to those that haven't seen it much. But I'm along for the ride, and again, I'm gonna trust them to tell them the story that they want to tell. But
There's different story writers too for season 2.
That's what yeah.
So if you're not, I know Sarko here, he doesn't like the show. He was saying it in the chat. I know Sarko likes his Halo as well. So yeah, I could see that. But there are different writers. Again, it's a different Sarko. Like, the thing is I said this after the first episode. You kind of have to put what you know about the series and what you love in stasis, right? Like, because we know first it's not a retelling of what we know, right? It is Halo. It is characters, but in that world, but a different. Obviously, we were just saying a different timeline. And I think once you wrap your head around that, like, you'll be able to enjoy it more. Yeah, there's gonna be things that are weird, right? Like, for instance, like, I don't know, like episode 2 I thought was shit. It was it was like whatever. It felt like a filler episode, but still, like, there were questions about, like with Soren, if you guys don't know what the hell I'm talking about, then it's not really spoilery, but like that scene with him and Chief, when they were younger, and I'm like, how? Because when they were kids, they were rewired, and then they show like Chief's augmentations, like they show like John's augmentations, like he's already been augmented by that point, right? Like when he's putting on his shirt, you see his back, he's already been augmented. So I'm kind of like, shouldn't Soren be as well, at that point, or like, because I was kind of confused, like, how is he feeling these things if they're already past that point? They're like well into their teenagehood at that time. So yeah, there's going to be, just put yourself in a state of, just put whatever in stasis, right? Like, there's the games, which we know and love. I love Halo Infinite. I've talked about it fucking numerous times. I love the story, plot holes or whatever. I did my own fucking research through so many hours, so I filled in all the gaps for myself. And I love where they're going with that, but this is not it. It's going to be a completely different take, and I think if you can do that, if you can twist that around, I think you'll be able to enjoy it. My son.
I too have also watched
my
all
son.
3 episodes.
Yes, my son.
You guys, I love you.
The exhale. Oh shit.
I love you, but
you gave us an exhale.
But, all right. So episode 1 was interesting. The first person view shots
they should
were
not have done
so
that.
cringe.
Really?
Some of the CGI was good and some was awful. Like, almost like they had like 2 teams and one ran out of money.
Yeah.
All right, so two almost made me drop the show. Like, for reals. I was like, oh my god, episode 2 is awful. What am I doing here? What is happening? I just watched episode 3 and it was better. Although the bar was low. It feels a lot like if it wasn't Halo, this would be like a mid sci-fi channel show to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hope
fair.
it's getting, I feel like it's getting better. I'm not a huge, like, I don't know all the Halo. I only know the mainline Halo stories,
Sure.
right? I don't get into the lore. And I know that this isn't, canon. And I'm trying to put all this behind and forget everything I know about Master Chief. But maybe the show will find itself, right? I mean, I hope like I want it to work because it is a cool world to be in. You're right. It's cool to see your video game characters on screen like that. So I don't want it to fail, but man, I wanted more. Maybe it's like
Yeah.
they definitely hyped it a bit, and there's a lot of money behind it.
Yeah.
And it's a big franchise. I'm gonna give it all this season for sure, and then I'll give it probably like half a season 2, and see where it goes. I know some people have already shelved it. I don't think it's that terrible. I definitely want more. And you guys are right about the whole Chief thing. It's like if you go in and you've never played the Halo games, you'd probably be in a better spot. Like it wouldn't be nearly as bad. It
Yeah.
would be like a guilty pleasure kind of show. It would be, all new. But now that we have alpha male Chief, that's been this person that has been vulnerable occasionally, right? But I mean, we've seen him just be a badass for 20 fucking years.
He's seen
and
him
now
vulnerable.
he's-
That's the thing. He's so,
right.
Yeah.
Right. I know. And it's hard. It's
Yes.
really hard for me to be like, oh, he's just a dude with
He's a lost
shoelifters. Shoelifters that doesn't know how to, has mommy issues, and it's just right. I mean, he does.
You're muted, Jordan.
Yeah, you're muted, Jordan. There's a lot there, but maybe my brain wasn't expecting to have to process emotion at all during this, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's also hard, right? Like, I just wanted blood, guts, gore, and here I am thinking about Master Chief's fucking psychological, mom issues. Like, it hits you different.
Yes.
Again, it's not terrible. I'm gonna stick with it. As a not huge Halo fan, I think that actually puts me in a better position than some
Yes.
people that are just completely disappointed by it.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with extending his story a little bit and all this other shit. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's something to watch on Paramount Plus. Aside from the card, which I want to start, which I've heard is really good, and they got 3 months because that's when my dollar subscription dies.
Hell yeah, baby.
And so let's go. Let's show me. And how many episodes do we know are releasing this
I
season?
have no idea.
Okay, so
it's
we don't know. I'd say
9,
8
8 or
at
9.
least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're, gaming fans, we tend to forgive a bit. We tend to have more leniency with this stuff just because of the fact that, we've been burned so many times by Hollywood portrayal of gaming. I still think gaming is the
Doom.
best form of storytelling. Like there's nothing that matches it. There's nothing that compares. I've seen hundreds of movies in my lifetime. And I put like the pinnacle I put at the top, in terms of storytelling and cinematography is The Godfather, right? Like that's for me, like that is peak cinema for me. And to this day, like still, like I mean, the what you get with games and your experiences with these characters and playing with them and seeing things through their eyes, it just will never be replicated on the big screen. It can't. And I think we're at a point because we've been burned so many times that's why like we're a little bit more forgiving when it comes to these portrayals, right? So like I can't disagree with what you're saying about the Halo series. I mean, if it wasn't Halo, I don't think anybody would give a fuck. Like let's be honest with each other. I mean, and that's the thing I was talking about with Chief itself, because we've seen many different emotions from Chief, but like without human, like we've seen him humanized, but without making him vulnerable. And I feel like, and that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, it's the only way you can see this is you have to put what as I said, in a state of in stasis, because you're seeing him out of his suit now, right? Like you said, oh, he's got these boot lifters, and like now we're just seeing a regular human, right? And some people may think that's something that's good, and some people may look at it and be like, well, I don't know how I feel about that, right? Like, I mean, this is a superhuman person. Like, it's not just superhuman as in like physically. It's not his physical prowess, right? Like, I mean, he's always been superhuman to us, right? He's fucking Master Chief,
Right.
You know, I mean, and when you have to suspend that to see this,
There's
that's
always a mystery, you know.
yes, and that mystery with the show is gone, and I don't know if I like that very much.
Hard.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know if I like that very much, and that's why like I'm still kind of like straddling that line. I'm enjoying the story, right? But his portrayal, Ains really said it best, right? Master Chief is Halo, right? Like, I mean, he is the fucking focal point of everything. It doesn't matter lore, all whatever. If your portrayal of Chief is not up to par, that might cause some issues with some people. And I think that's where I kind of am right now with this, right? Because like, I remember in episode 1 where she goes to him, she's like, "You're Master Chief. People look up to you." I'm like, does he not fucking know that? Like, nobody needs to reiterate that to him, right? He's like, "Oh, really?" You know, like, that's the sense I got. Like, "Oh, I'm Master Chief. People look up to me." I'm like, you're fucking Master Chief. You don't need to be told that people look up to you. You are the most well fucking known soldier in the cosmos. You know, like, I mean, and then I don't know. I'm gonna keep watching because I want to see where they're going. Again, the story is interesting. I like the direction they're going with the story, but my biggest issue so far is his portrayal.
Yeah,
And I don't know how much I'm on board with that, because you made him too vulnerable, bro. You know, like, I mean, I can't. Like, I mean, go play fucking Halo Infinite. Okay, go play Halo Infinite, right? You want to fucking see regret? You want to see Chief at his fucking lowest? You want to see Chief taste defeat and know what defeat is like and know what the fuck he has to do? You go play Halo Infinite. He knows he got his fucking ass beat by Atriox. He knows exactly what happened. And he knows he has to fix that. And the whole fucking game, he's aware of it. It's eating his fucking brain. And you're able to tell us that, but without him losing what he actually is. I remember when I first reviewed the game, when I saw that fucking opening scene, I'm like, oh my God, look what they did to this guy. Dude, he fucking tossed him around like a rag doll. They basically said, fuck what you know about Chief. Yeah, like, this is what he's up against. This is exactly who Atriox is, but still, right? We saw how vulnerable he was against a much fucking, like, a much stronger opponent, but still, we're still able to, it did not at all make me think any less of him, right? That itself was a way to humanize him without showing me his bare ass. You know, I mean, so I don't know, bro. Yeah, that's my biggest issue so far.
I just want to say that I think it's like the whole Batman effect. You know, this is the origin story for the layperson. You know, so they have to tell this whole story for people that don't know who it is. And again, that Halo Infinite, that I doubt that hit for as much. You know, seeing him vulnerable like that didn't hit for anybody that didn't have the 20 years experience that you and I did playing those games. So yeah, again, we have to give that kind of benefit to that.
Yeah, I didn't know.
That is true.
Yeah. I'm thinking, to me, it sounds like to me, okay, I've played the games, but I haven't been as into it as probably Jordan or Mo. Like, I'm probably more into it than Kevin. So there's a gray area that I'm existing in right there. It sounds like, from what everybody's saying, even chat over here, even like what you're saying, Sarko, like, to me, I feel like that disconnect will work in my favor, and I probably will like it. Because if y'all are talking about, like, psychological shit and war and stuff, I love that type of stuff. And to me, Master Chief isn't really, like, he's more like a shell of a person that needed an attitude somewhere in there. And I guess you're saying, like, they're filling it in the show, but, like, it's not exactly probably what you thought. So if it was tied to, like, the Legacy timeline, is this like rookie Chief, or is this Chief that people know, like what you're saying, Mo? Like, everybody knows you're Master Chief, or like what am I?
It's weird.
What's his fame level? I guess, you know.
And
like,
you're not even quite sure yet.
So look, here's the thing. No, this is a good point. This is a good topic, because this is gonna fuck up the window right now. But whatever. Eric here says this Master Chief was well before anything he accomplished in games. So though he's not humanity's savior yet.
Right,
True.
that's why I asked, because I read,
but here's the thing, and this is where I have problems with this, right? Eric, you're right? But still, everywhere he goes, he's known. Look where he went when he went to Soren's world. Everyone knew who he was. Every time he walks somewhere, everybody stops and they look at him. So at this point, it's very, very obvious that everyone knows who Master Chief is. And then on top of that, when Halsey told him, she's like, "You're humanity's savior," right? Like, I mean, you're Master Chief. Like, I remember it was in the first episode. That's 2. 3. If he hasn't done anything yet, why the fuck are the Covenant calling him Demon? What has he done to the Covenant yet for him to get that moniker so early? Now, right?
Okay.
Because right now they're still trying to figure out the Covenant. Who are they? What are they? What is their intention? Blah blah blah. But they're calling him Demon. I know that's a little Easter egg to the series itself and to the fans. But still, I'm looking at it. I'm like,
Right, that's time.
what has he done to the Covenant for them to call him Demon?
Yeah.
He's not a fucking demon yet. So I don't know. Right now he's known because of the rebellion, right? Because he's fought for the UNSC, and because he's fought for the UNSC against the rebels. So that's how well known. That's why he's so well known in humanity. But in terms of like them being, but in terms of him being humanity's savior against the Covenant, he hasn't done anything against the Covenant yet, and he hasn't done anything for him to be called Demon yet. So you can call it nitpicking. I understand, but I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Okay, I kind of see this. Okay, I'm very intrigued for this. Like, I've been watching Moon Knight, so I haven't gotten into Halo yet. Exactly,
Mike,
but
I think you'll like it.
I
Just
think
know,
I will too.
and we probably should move on. But just know that even as a casual, I played probably 70 hours of Halo, right? Just the campaigns, maybe more, right? And in 30 minutes, everything you know is just completely changed, right? So that just bothers you. Like, there's no way to fucking avoid it. If you've played these games, the show's gonna hit you, and it's gonna be like, what the fuck? Like,
Really?
that's your instant reaction. Yeah, because I mean, the helmet comes off, within that first fucking episode, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like,
I thought it was going to be
why?
like this. I thought it was going to be like towards the end of the season.
Yes.
Right. Like, do you
Yes, and
think
they
though
just
the
fucking
writer
ripped it off?
But do you think the writers though were like, let's not do the Mandalorian route? It's been done before.
I don't know.
And so
man.
let's
I don't
like,
know.
but it would be better. It's like, yes, the fucking Mandalorian way. Take it off at the end of the season.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
I know. Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
true. Yeah, we do have to
But-
move on. Fuck, yeah, we could
But
keep talking about
yes,
this.
yes, yeah, we probably could.
Yeah.
Find out next week.
That's find out next week. That's pretty much where I'm at. I again, yeah, I like the story, but these are my nitpicks so far. He's not a fucking demon yet.
Okay, I can't wait to watch it. Actually, I'm gonna check it out.
Let it go, Mo. Let it go.
I'm gonna let it
go.
go. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it
it
go. First order of business is quickly to touch on it. Elden Ring sold 12 million copies as of 1 month ago, right? And that itself was an incredible. Just to put it in perspective, it didn't sell. The entire Souls series didn't sell 12 million until Dark Souls 3 came out. So I had a conversation with some people about Elden Ring itself and about how if this genre is still considered niche, however the fuck you want to pronounce it. And with this, with so many people willing to try this, I don't know, are we at a point now, and I think people like Jordan and Mike and Elu, and Dash here in the chat, like people who really played these games, you can make the comparisons between this one and the previous games, right? And and obviously we know they're a lot more accessible, and that's why like people like me who are new to the genre, it's not easy, but it's fair, so I'm not surprised just because of the hype train and how well it was received. But at the same time, I'm looking at this. It was 12 million 1 month ago. It's easily probably 15 million now. So are we at a point now where these games are not considered niche anymore? Or, I don't know.
Mainstream garbage.
Yeah, you still think it's mainstream, huh? Mainstream
I
garbage?
did see a
Mainstream
meme
garbage.
where people were making fun of like, oh, Call of Duty, just a fucking different game, same skin, same shit, and then they were like, oh yeah, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. I was like, oh, you got me there, but I don't give a shit because it's way better though. But Mo, just to answer that question, I guess a little bit is like maybe like a bigger chunk of people are now. They got that hook and they're like, oh, now I'll play these games and I'll even go back and play the older games. But the percentage, I think, is a much higher of people who did play it and then dropped it. I think that percent that is way higher than like the people who like really gravitated toward it. Because I've seen a boatload, more so on Facebook, I guess, like in the Elden Ring group chat, a boatload of people being like, yo, dude, this game was nothing but hype. Fuck this game. And then, of course, the shit talking ensues or whatever. But I've seen quite a bit of those types of responses, man. So
Eric made a good point
Yeah.
in the chat. This is basically the Souls series of Skyrim. You know, I mean, so Skyrim, it just became mainstream for that type of game, and I mean,
Okay,
and
right, it could
obviously, and remember, this is an open world game. You know, I mean, so open world is nothing new, but I'm talking about, you know, just the difficulty, you know, the Souls genre. That's really what it was, and I think, yeah, man, I'm happy to see this. You know, I mean, this just opens up the, you know, I looked at the Souls series like a barricade. You know, it used to be this barricade from before, right? I mean, and you have to like really fucking like you have to walk up to the fucking fence and you have to just shake it and keep shaking it and determine whether
out.
yeah, you know, I mean, and if you keep shaking it and getting it out of its fucking foundations, then maybe yeah, you fucking cross it and you're able to finish these games, right? I was a pussy and I didn't want to, right? So like I would just stop right there, right? I would just shake it a little bit and I would stop. So now it seems like their approach, I think it's masterful because they've maintained the essence of this series from everything that I've known and read about it from before and what I've heard from you guys, but just making it in a way where it's less frustrating for people. You really have to fucking think about that, right? I think it's phenomenal because there's so many people that cry for easier modes in this game, and they've managed to maintain the foundation of everything that their games comprise of, right? But without, you know, and I don't know, bro. I just think that's masterful the way that they were able to do it. We're gonna keep our games the way they are, but we're going to try to make it more accessible by giving you, the player, more options. Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah. Jordan, what do you think?
No, I would agree. I think, like I said, the biggest factor in its commercial success is probably just going to be the fact that it's reviewed so friggin' well. But again, the word of mouth amongst, you know, everyone's friends, like you guys, especially you and Kevin, my friend Mason, never played a Souls game, never had any interest in those games before too, but he's like, maybe I'll check this out. And you're right. I think the degree of approachability that they've injected in this game shows. I wouldn't say it makes it inherently easier because again, this is, I feel like, especially, you know, Mike might relate this too. Someone that's played the games before, you kind of know what to expect. Like, you know, when you, like me going through like Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, I'm always like, oh, it's not as hard because you never forget your first time. You know, like Dark Souls 1, again, I've told everybody else to kick my teeth like 3 times before I finally got hooked by it. But yes, this was still a challenging game, but they put in a lot of things in the game that not necessarily overpowered, but that just made it to where you didn't feel like you were always getting steamrolled.
Yeah, and, Dash brings up, sorry to cut you off, Jordan, but I just got to bring up the summon spirits.
That's 100%. That's 100%.
Like,
yeah.
So, like, there's a thing within the Elden Ring community that, like, if you use basically anything besides your wits and your fisticuffs, or just like a sword and a shield or whatever, but if you use a summon, it's technically like cheating within the Souls community because, like, the summon really does, like, the boss takes his whole entire attention off of you. Yeah, it goes for your summon. You're good to go. You either get a free hit, free health. You don't get those in the other games unless if you're playing multiplayer. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm really curious to talk to an individual who really gave it the college boy try and just straight up quit. And, like, if they would be cool to, like, talk about that openly without being like, oh, I quit. You know? Yeah, like, I would love to hear, like, why exactly did you quit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, jump on. I'll multiplayer with you. No, just kidding. But
no, it's you know, a lot of us have made the argument too. If it's in the game, it's there for you to use it. It's not. Yeah, there are certain things that are overpowered, but they've balanced that, as you may have seen. Like, you know, the Hoarfrost Stomp, and everyone talking about this damn Bloodhound's Fang, aka the Sword of Winning.
The Sword of Winning, yeah.
So, yeah, but again, it does not. And Kevin, I know you guys had a thread about this on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. Like, there's no doesn't detract from you overcoming whatever X, Y, or Z boss just because you use, again, said ability. But
Right. Yeah.
No,
again,
because I mean,
each their
you
own.
have different skill levels, right? So me using the summons and
Yeah.
and somebody helping me may be just as hard to
Yeah.
me as it
Yeah.
is you going solo
Sure.
with a spoon,
Yeah.
you know,
Totally.
naked. So
Certainly.
fuck it, and that's I think. I mean, isn't the end goal to challenge you right yourself, not anybody else? So if it was fucking hard and you feel that Elden Ring rush, right? At the
Yes.
end, then you did it. That's I think that's the
Yeah.
fucking goal
Yeah.
of it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, soapbox right here. I fucked up the window again. My biggest gripe is how many
Sorry.
reused bosses there are. Towards the end, if I saw the Godskin Noble or the Tree System, I started screaming in anger. Yeah, you know, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what annoyed me. That fucking cat.
Oh, yeah,
no,
the
yeah,
Guardian.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Guardian. That one. Yeah, that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I got tired of seeing that one, but it's good to.
Yeah, I would almost say that has to do just with the massive world soapbox. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, man. Like, because I just think about Darksiders. What a fabulous fucking game that is. So, like, I remember Darksiders 1 to me, like, I was just so impressed on how many different enemy types they would get. Even at the end of the game, like, a new enemy, like a regular new enemy came up, and I was like, this is fucking G. I did get those moments, though, like in Elden Ring, where you're just like, oh, the stone flamethrower dude again.
Yeah.
Or, like, oh, it's like a different variation of that other guy I fought. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, if you consider how many enemies, you got squids, you got lobsters,
Dude.
you got all this shit.
Yeah.
Like a demigod on a horse, a centipede
Yeah.
thing, this and that, and a
There's a
bird or
lot.
whatever.
There's a
Yeah,
lot.
so
There's
I
a
feel
lot.
like, yeah, I feel like I can like
fucking
give it a
eight-fingered
little bit
hands.
of
I
slack,
hate those
you know?
things. Yeah.
Oh yeah, uh huh.
I can't fucking.
He's
stand
like,
those.
oh yeah,
So creepy, bro. The 8-fingered hands.
yeah.
I can't stand.
Oh
them.
yeah. Oh
My God, I
yeah.
hate those things so much.
Mhm,
Anyway, yeah.
same.
So it's good to see that it's gonna be interesting to see how From matches this. You know, because
Yeah,
every
that-
game they've made has been better than the previous one.
I'm
so
I'm
now,
so with you, man.
and
They're
now
gonna
they've hit,
GTA 5 this shit, and it's just gonna be DLC for the next 10 years. That's it. You guys better love Elden Ring
I
because
hope
this is
not.
the only game that From
Oh,
is
yeah.
gonna do.
oh,
Man, I hope.
yeah. Oh, yeah, we're gonna see multiple releases. That's for sure.
Yep, remasters and shit.
Well, assuming it gets DLCs and shit. Yeah.
We
yeah.
got Demon Souls already. They have already begun.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. All right. So, next topic I wanted to touch on is PlayStation Plus, my friends. So there were rumors about PlayStation Plus, and Sony wanting to merge PlayStation Plus and PS Now together, and it happened. And they merged them into 3 different options. Basically, there's PlayStation Plus Essential now, which is either $10 a month or $25 for every 3 months or $60 a year, right? So clearly they want people to, just invest into the yearly, options. Obviously, it saves you money. And that one is pretty much PS Plus as we know it now. 2 monthly downloadable games, discounts, cloud storage, blah, blah, blah. Then they have PS Plus Extra, which is PS Plus, and then adding a catalog of up to 400 of the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games, including blockbuster hits from our PS Studios catalog and third-party partners as well. So that's good. You can't fill up they might be able to, but no, actually they can't. Yeah, it's a third-party and first-party games, which is good. And if they're PS4 and PS5 games, that means these will be able to be downloaded natively to your console, which is good. 400. Pretty good. Now, this is $15 a month, which is the same price as Game Pass, or $100 a year, which is still fucking cheap, right? That's pretty much, that's $40 more than what you're paying for regular PS Plus. So clearly they want to incentivize you to go to this as well. Mm-hmm. And then there's PS Plus Premium, which is the one I had a problem with. That one is obviously everything else, and it adds another 340 games, including, and this was my fucking kicker, and I'm about to get to it in a second, PS3 games available via cloud streaming. Catalog of beloved classic PS games available in streaming and download options from original PlayStation, PS2, and PSP. They completely kicked the Vita to the curb like a $2 hooker, and then offers cloud streaming access for original PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PS4. And then time-limited game trials, I'm assuming this is going to be for their new games that are coming out, will be offered in this tier so customers can try select games before they buy. This one is $18 a month or $120 a year. So bottom line, their most expensive tier per year is still $60 cheaper than the MSRP of Game Pass, while obviously Game Pass gives you day one access to their games. So a lot of people looked at this as, as a competitor in a sense to Game Pass. I didn't really see it that way. I think Sony, what they wanted to do, this is a way for them to maximize, obviously, more and more spending out of their customer base. They have over 50 million PS Plus subscribers, right? And of that 50 million, 5% is, what's it called? I'm sorry, how many do they have? My number might be wrong here. But I know they have like a few million PS Now subscribers, believe it or not.
Like 5-ish or
5 million. Yeah, so my numbers were off, yeah. So they have about 5 million.
Way more than I thought.
Yes, right? Yeah.
Holy shit.
So they have about 5
Way
million
more.
PS Now subscribers, which is honestly pretty impressive considering how much it gets shit on. I mean,
Yeah,
but
it is not a good service.
No, but here's the thing, though. So now I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing like the options that they're giving, including the 400 games, between first party and third party. That's pretty fucking good, right? Like for $100 a year, that's honestly pretty good, and that's $40 on top of what we're paying now. My issue with the Essential is the PlayStation 3. The PS3 library, arguably for me, might be my favorite library for all the PlayStation, right? And I don't want people to make excuses because of the cell architecture. I'm so fucking sick of that excuse about the cell architecture. I mean, there is zero fucking reason why Sony has not been able to get this library over to us in a non-streaming format.
Cell architecture, Mo? Can you elaborate on that?
The PlayStation 3, like it was like a collaboration between what was it? It was
Motorola.
No, it wasn't Motorola. Wasn't it IBM and Toshiba or some shit? I don't
Maybe
fucking
it was
remember.
IBM.
Okay.
It had a unique processor.
Basically, what they did is they went away from like the standard x86 computer architecture, and they went with a way too advanced for its time type of fucking architecture for the PS3, and it was a nightmare to develop for initially, and that's why there's so many games. On paper, the PlayStation 3 was more powerful than the 360. But for the first several years of those consoles' timelines, everything ran better on the 360 because it was so easy to develop for. It was basically a mini PC. It was a mini PC. So developers looked at it and they were like, oh, well, this is fucking easy to maximize our shit out of. So they were able to do it. And that's why there's so many games that were multi-platform that just ran and looked better on the 360 than the PS3 did. Towards the end of its life cycle, the PS3, when the developers started to understand it better and better, they started maximizing it more. Like obviously their first party studios. Look how fucking good like Uncharted 2 looked and Uncharted 3 looked and The Last of Us looked, right? Like these were all towards like the end of the timeline. And other developers as well. But basically what I'm trying to say is, don't bastardize this library behind a streaming-only format. You're streaming, first of all, I don't believe this country has the architecture, or I'm sorry, the network infrastructure to fully support streaming. I just don't believe we do, right? Like, I mean, it's on its way. So far, it's serviceable, but to wall off an entire library of games. Like, I have a fucking stack. I put it on Twitter the other day. I have a stack of PS3 games. I can't play them. I can't pop them into my PlayStation and play them, right? I have Metal Gear Solid 4, and I have the Resistance games, and I have whatever. I can't play these. I have to pay to stream them on my PlayStation. That's fucking bullshit. I have a bunch of OG Xbox games that I can just fucking pop into my console, and they figured out a way to, they figured out a way to simulate it. So why can't Sony? No, they didn't want to spend money into it. You know why? Because there are PC fucking, what's that, what's that? Whoa, those
RCMS, I
PC
think,
developers,
or-
yeah. There's some guys who did a project on the side and they're able to emulate. They created emulation for the PS3 on PC. So you're telling me they can do it, but a conglomerate like Sony can't do it for the fucking PlayStation? No, they can do it. They just didn't want to. And that's what bugs me about it. Like, out of all this, I think it's a fucking great deal. I'm not going to lie to you. I think what they're offering and for the price that you're paying, I think it's a fucking phenomenal deal, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
don't wall off an entire generation of games to streaming only. That's lazy. That's fucking lazy.
You know,
You were able to make the entire PS3 library downloadable. I swear to God, I would have fucking got Essential, and I wouldn't have even batted an eye.
I think they're buying time. I think they are working on an emulator. I really do. There's been a couple rumors here and there. They have to be at this point. And I think we're going to see that migration, because what they're doing right now is they're running this already emulated in the cloud. All right. Because there isn't a data center full of PS3s running 24/7 playing these games off disk. It is not happening. Right. So they already have this running on server blades somewhere, or in a VM somewhere on AWS or wherever. Right. And the PS5 should have enough horsepower to emulate the PS3 plus some
Easily.
So I think it's coming. You know, I honestly think they may. I mean, they're since the PS4 and even the PS3, their OS hasn't virtualized much of anything. They don't work on the containerized OS that Microsoft has. Microsoft is just a PC, and every time you launch an Xbox game or a 360 game, it boots up the literal OS, you know, of the 360. They didn't have that capability, so they've got to work that out. But I think it's a stopgap if they're gonna really push this service, which I feel like they're actually gonna invest in, because PS Now was always like, oh, by the way, we have PS Now. It's a rental service. Oh, not anymore. Now you can download the games, but we're not really gonna tell you that until later, right? I mean, nobody really even knew what the fuck PS Now was for a while. I just knew it was a way to rent games, right, and play old games that you could play.
Yeah.
So, you know, the fact that they're investing in it, I think this is going to be a stopgap, and I'd say by like 2024, they gotta be able to have an emulator out that'll play these games natively.
Yeah.
Some of those games are going to look so nice, so nice. They can
Yeah, they
add
will.
some extra, you know, features, some sharpness, bring some shit up to 60 FPS. You know, ideally. I mean, the other thing is they do keep it behind streaming, right? And they fuck everybody out of their libraries, but they remaster these things and they continue to gain money that way, which I
That's
wouldn't
what
put
Eric
past
is saying,
Sony,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, like, and there's pros to that, right? Because even if you take like Metal Gear 4, right? People love the multiplayer of that shit, right? You're not going to get multiplayer on an emulator. The servers are
fine.
down, right?
That's fine.
You know,
Yeah.
but a lot of the multiplayer and all those functions wouldn't work even if they were able to run this shit. So maybe
That's
they
asking
take.
too much. Yeah.
I know. So you know they can take either approach. I would love to be able to pop in some fucking PS3 discs without having to roll out my PS3 and have to plug it in, right? And play on the shitty ass DualSense, DualShock 3s that are just tiny. You know, it would be nice to play on a nice new controller on a nice new system. And just be able to boot that shit up, aside from streaming. Because you're right, infrastructure in some places is good, but we're still catching up, man. This isn't South Korea. You know, this isn't Japan. They have, like, amazing all-fiber infrastructure. We have a lot. The U.S. is fucking enormous, and people don't realize how enormous it is and how much of it is nothing. Right, you got East Coast, West Coast, and nothing in between, and there's the infrastructure is still very, very shitty, and there's still dial-up, and there's still, you know, DSL and cable, and not everybody's hooked up with 1 gig, 2 gig, 5 gig fiber. It's not the case. That is the minority right now. So, and even in Idaho, where I'm at, I have a gig fiber, but these data centers are the closest ones, hopefully, are in like Seattle, you know? So my round trip time is still not great. You know, so even if you have fast internet, where are their data centers? Where is this data stored, and how fast is it going to get there and come back to you? And that affects gameplay. So either way, not to get super technical, I wonder what route they're going to take. I would love to be able to natively play PS3 games. But if it doesn't come, the PS Plus Premium is still a really good value, man. Like,
yeah, it is.
I subbed. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I think we're going to see day and date third parties hit it.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have some contractual, like time limited, probably like 3 months of, like we saw with Outriders and shit like that, right? And I think that's going to be huge, man. And I'm glad they're going to have yet another way to keep people, right? To keep people in the ecosystem, to keep people hitting up the fucking store, buying the sales, instead of, I think that would help people like me that primarily play the exclusives on the PlayStation, be like, yo, let me check this out, right? And then, oh shit, let me buy the DLC for it. Oh shit, let me do, this other game, Amazon does it all the time. Like, hey, book fucking 1 is free, but book 2 and book 3 is not, right? So I'm gonna play the first one and be like, fuck, I gotta play the second one now, right? I best buy it. So I think overall it's a good strategy, and I'm glad they're consolidating it and making it into one kind of appealing package. And stop comparing it to Game Pass, really, because it kind of is and it kind of isn't. But Game Pass is its own animal, right? And I don't think, I think it's intention here. Like, I don't think PlayStation has the intention to directly compete with Game Pass at this
If they
point
wanted
in time.
to, they would have. They would have put
They would
all
have
their
done it
games.
already.
Yeah,
Yep.
they would have done it.
So
Yeah.
this is just, kind of a half measure to take in some of that money. Why not? It's, if all the places around your state are legalizing pot, why the fuck wouldn't you? Like, people are going to cross the border to go get the pot. So PlayStation's just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's
and
get these people on a sub-service.
Yeah, I think that's what it is too. Is obviously they're recognizing the growth. I guess if you want to say, like we were just talking about, that there are about 5 million PS Now subscribers, and most people don't even know that. So that itself is pretty impressive. Again, for considering, like, when people make the comparisons between that and Game Pass itself. Eric made a point though, because he said, if all the games on the PS3, if like their biggest games are remastered to the PS4 and you can play the PS4 games on your PS5, is that going to really make a difference? That is a very good point. But they're not. Like, as of now, they're not, right? Like, I'm talking about Slice, Resistance. I know you can play Uncharted, the Resistance games, Killzone. I actually loved Killzone 2 and 3. I loved them, right? Like, I really, really enjoyed those. But there's a lot of games. Yeah, there's a lot of games that are still held on that library that, we just can't play right now. And there are obviously some that they have already ported over. God of War 3 they did, right? So they've already brought that to the PS4. But until they do that, and I don't think they're going to do that for everything. But the whole point, really, Eric, is what I'm trying to say is, like, we're at a point now. Like, you should be able to do it, right? Like, this is not rocket science. I get, if your architecture was fucked up, you chose to make that fucked up, but we don't need to pay the price for that. If I supported the PlayStation 3 and I bought a ton of fucking games and I did my part, right? Like, there's no reason why all these years later, I still can't pop in my discs that I paid to support your company into the new console that I paid to support your company to play my games. Like, that's really it. If I can do that on Xbox, then I should be able to do it on the PS5 as well. And I think I hope at least they're coming to that. Who was it earlier? Soapbox Games here. He also said something, and this was actually on VGC. He said here, story has come out. Apparently, Sony is working on an emulator for PS3 titles. Take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, I saw that on VGC. I think it was Grub that reported it or something. I don't know, but it should happen. It really should. And as far as what you said, Kev, with the games itself, I don't think it's just going to be these games and that's it. And they did say on their blog that it's going to be cycling, right? Like, they're going to be bringing games in and out. And I think that might have to do with the third-party games that they're going to be making deals with. Because we did say, I remember, like, in our group chat, obviously this is when we weren't doing the show. We were saying, like, I think there's gonna be, I think they're gonna bring in some games from third party studios, like new games. They will, whether that's a competition that's going to be with Game Pass, which I don't think at this point you will be, considering the fact that, you still need numbers, for those tiers, in order for the developers to be like, why are we going to bring it to why are we going to bring it here if we don't have the numbers yet? Whereas like you look at Game Pass and you're what, like 20 million, or whatever it is. So clearly the numbers would be in Xbox's favor, but we'll see. Let me see what Eric said over here. What you should do is compare what this is to what Game Pass is when it launched. Game Pass had years of growth to pay for its current offering. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. You're right. But again, Sony is just not going to run with that model. Like, I mean, look, man, I'm the type that thinks like, look, I think Jim Ryan is a brilliant businessman, but I think he just needs to shut up. Because everything he says is going to be interpreted wrong, and it's going to be interpreted differently, and there's nothing he can do that's going to change that. Like when the whole virtuous cycle thing that he mentioned about Sony's titles. Everybody's like, "Oh, virtuous titles. This guy, what are you saying? What are you saying?" Right? Like, I mean, I get what he's saying. I get what he's talking about, but at the same time, like, it doesn't sound good coming from him, right? Because every time he talks about it, it's going to look like he's shitting on that model, which is clearly working, right? Like, I mean, just say this is not what we want to do. And he did say that. The problem is when he keeps elaborating on it. That's when he keeps shooting himself in the foot. I'm not smarter than the guy, and I will never pretend to be, right? The guy runs a fucking conglomerate. I'm just saying, from a consumer perspective, when I look and see what it is that he's saying, stop elaborating so much, because that's when your shit starts to get misinterpreted, and when people start kind of like questioning, what it is that you're saying. Like, we already know Sony's not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They believe they have premium products. They believe their software is premium, and they want to charge for it. And so be it.
That's okay.
That to me, that's fine. That's okay. It's not going to be okay for everybody, and that's completely understandable. But hey, man, if you think your game is worth this much, first, you better fucking prove it's worth this much. And second, okay, clearly the numbers are there. People are buying their games, and they know it. So if this is the system that they want, that's fine. And I think we've talked about this so many times with people. These companies are successful because they each do their own thing separately. They don't need to emulate each other. They don't need to do things the same way, right? Xbox tried to do that, and it didn't work. So then they went this way, and now they've kind of rearranged the market, right? Like now everything is looked at with a consumer-friendly eye, and that's because of what they did, and that's honestly masterful the way that they did it, and it worked out in their favor. Whereas Sony's still here, they're still doing their thing, and it's fucking working. They don't need to do things the same way. And if you don't like, one approach, then that's why we have options. So anyway, yeah, that's really my thing with PS Plus. I think it's a good value. Bottom line, like you were saying, Kev. And we'll see how it takes off for them. I think it's just a way for them to streamline it, and I think this was inevitable. Jordan, did you want to mention anything?
No, man. I think I speak for all of us when you wrapped it up in a nice, pretty bow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mike, you got anything to say about this?
I think, everything you're saying, Mo, I'm like right there with you, man. I like what they're giving us, but it's just like, why didn't y'all, if anything, because I like me a good PS4, PS3 title, man. Like, I really do, dude. I still play the Metal Gears. I play Metal Gear 2 and 3 on Xbox, though. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, shit, though. But, I like it. I'm going to go through it to see what I can or cannot get. I saw somebody, I forgot who it was. I mean, I don't think it was anybody I knew. They were like, who the fuck wants to play? Oh, it was a discussion about if newer gamers, like younger generation people, play older games. And I don't know if that's the case. I don't think that's the case. You know what I mean? Because
it's not for them.
Shitty graphics.
This is for us,
blah
bro.
blah blah. Yeah, exactly. I don't see them like I see them more not emulating Xbox Game Pass, but more so Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation wanted to emulate services like Netflix. And these types of services that did it way years prior to that, and that's what they saw, and that's kind of like how they're like, let's give them stuff that they pay us $100 every year, and they will never stop that. That's what they're thinking. Let's give them all these titles. Let's give them shit to binge play. And I know people even play Game Pass. I think y'all have mentioned it. I know I have, where you're just gonna download a Game Pass game just to fucking have it on your console to check it out or something.
Yeah.
You know. And if you didn't pay for Game Pass and you try to do that, you'd be like, whoa, hold on, I gotta re-up my Game Pass, man. You know what I mean? Because it's just. That's the way the world is now. You know what I mean? Like, I saw Wiley talking about like, oh, I'm always online. Like, dude, a lot of people are, Wiley. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are online now, and they want to consume that shit. And I'm about it, to be honest. Like, I hate to be plugged in all the time or whatever, you know, like a sleeper, like in the Matrix or whatever. But I mean, shit, the future is now. Seriously. So yeah, I'm about it, and I'm gonna definitely get one of the tiers. And I hope I can play games like Odyssey to the West and like these classic PS3 games that I like grew up on. You know?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wait, somebody said something over here, man. I must have missed it. Shit, I can't remember. I'm sorry. No, it wasn't Luke. Luke, I love you. Oh yeah, right here, Slider Hands.
Saying what's up.
I think I can speak for everyone. Shadowfall wasn't great. Amen to that, bro. I did not like Killzone Shadowfall at all. I played it for like a couple hours. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And I just stopped. So I do not have any good memories with Killzone Shadowfall. I did like 2 and 3 though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I played a ton of multiplayer for 2. Man, I know, you know, the heavy. You know, I actually enjoyed it. I like Killzone. Definitely wasn't a fucking Halo killer, you know. I mean, but I thought it was pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, PS3 emulation. Hopefully they do it. Last thing was a really cool surprise, and it was Remedy just announcing that they're remaking Max Payne 1 and 2 with Rockstar's it was a partnership with Rockstar Games, who are the OG. Obviously, yeah. I mean, Rockstar actually published all 3 games, so it's a partnership with Rockstar, and they're remaking 1 and 2 in one package, and it's going to be basically like AAA. It's a AAA production. So this was a really nice surprise, and they're doing it with their new engine, the one that powered Control, and probably their next game as well. And it's going to be really cool to see them do that. I thought it was bittersweet because Max Payne 3 wasn't even mentioned here. You know, and I feel like Max Payne 3 is getting that Batman Arkham Origins type of fucking type of treatment. Okay, that you know, if you want to make comparisons. Personally, I thought Batman Arkham Origins was fucking awesome. All right, like, I mean, I thought it stood shoulder to shoulder with the Arkham games that Rocksteady made. I thought the boss fights were excellent, but it still gets fucking completely shit on. It gets ignored just because it was not made by Rocksteady. And I feel like this over here is kind of the same deal. I feel like we're getting the same thing with Max Payne 3, which me personally think was more superior than 1 and 2. I'll die on that hill. I don't care what anyone tells me. Max Payne 3 as a whole is one of my favorite games of all time. And I thought what it did in terms of moving everything forward and just moving his story forward, you know, I mean, even after 1 and 2, granted it was by a different team, but still they retained, I feel like they really fucking nailed, you know, what made Max Payne so good, you know, and they just kind of moved it forward, and they ended his storyline in a nice way. You know, they kind of like went full circle with him. They gave him purpose. At the end, you know, he was a fucking bum. At the end, he was a fucking loser, and he gets his job, and then whatever. Like, I mean, if you played Max Payne 3, you know. But the point is gameplay, it was there. Visuals, it's still there. If you have a good PC, why don't you fire up Max Payne 3 on your PC and fucking blast and blast the visuals, and tell me how good it still looks to this day compared to everything else that we're playing, right? Gameplay is excellent. The story is excellent. The visuals are excellent. So just because it was not made by Remedy, I think it's just getting a shitty treatment. And I think that's kind of fucked up, to be honest with you. So am I happy? I'm ecstatic. I love Max Payne. Obviously, you guys know, I think me and Kevin and Jordan and Mike, we're all fans of Max Payne. We love it. But still, it was just bittersweet for me. You know, if I'm really going to be a nag about it.
You know, I wonder with Max Payne 1 and 2 being so short, I wonder if that had something to do with it. Because Max Payne 3 is probably just as long as both of those put together. Having just recently played through them, Max Payne 3 is much longer. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's a resource thing. Maybe we'll see it down the line. But I'm super excited, like, because having just played all of them, right? Max Payne 1 desperately needed something because it was borderline almost not fun playable. Like, the levels were tiny and the tank controls are shit. And so I'm super glad Max Payne 2 was better. But the fact that these are remakes excites me. Like, what new shit are they going to add? Maybe Mona's boobs aren't going to be triangles, right? I mean, there's so many good things that could come out of this. And maybe they're gauging the success of this to see whether or not they're going to invest in. I feel like Max Payne 3 and a remake, or even just a remaster, would probably be fine.
Just touch it up, bro. We just played it
for Max Payne. Yeah, do an Alan Wake remastered, right? Kind of thing. That would be nice. I don't even think it needs a full remake, but I'm excited. Having played Resident Evil 2, remake.
Yes.
I'm hoping it's something like that.
Yes.
Where it keeps the original intent and they don't change too much, but they make it work in 2022. Is that what you're wearing? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm excited, man. I'm a huge Max Payne fan. I just played them, so of course they're gonna come out with this. But that's okay. I'll just fucking play them again.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's
true.
fine. That's fine. They don't get old. It's like it's like there's no such thing as a bad blowjob type of thing. It's that. There's no such thing as a bad Max Payne game.
Oh, there really isn't. And Eric, Eric here said was not Remedy. No, Eric, it was not Remedy. Max Payne 3 was Rockstar Vancouver, which is now shut down, unfortunately, because that game, that game was the Batman Arkham Origins. That game was the DMC Devil May Cry. Okay, basically, people just fucking didn't want to give it a chance just because it was another studio's take. And amazingly enough, DMC Devil May Cry from Ninja Theory is my favorite Devil May Cry game. And Max Payne 3 is my favorite Max Payne game. So, yeah. Hey, man, I'm all for it, dude. Yeah, what the fuck? I mean, respecting what, the whatever the fuck it is. I'm trying to say. You guys understand what the hell I'm trying to say, but
it's okay, Mo.
I'm trying to shut down, but source material. Respecting the source material, but at the same time, adding your own flair to it. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. And it shouldn't be. These fucking people, it's like you want new things, but then when new things happen, you start to shit on it because it's not like the old thing. What do you people want? What do you want?
They want it to be 1999.
Dante doesn't have white hair. No, Dante's white hair.
I love the way they did it in DMC.
It was
too.
amazing.
They, little speckle, and then all white at the end. It's like origin story. Oh, whatever. It was awesome.
Oh, he's so immature. I'm like, oh yeah, because Ebony and Ivory are so mature. Like that. This motherfucker named his guns. What was the name of his bar? It was called Devil May Cry. Like, I mean, Dante was such a mature character.
Yeah.
Oh God, spare me. Anyway, man, yeah, that's where we're at. Hey, boys. Well, I think that's it. Sorry, man, my kid's crying upstairs. Hold on a second. Shit.
The sign. He's handling some business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because he hears me. That's why he hears me. Anyway, I hope this was a good show, man. This was a really good comeback for us. I hope you guys enjoyed it with us. I'm so happy to be here and to talk, to talk about video games again. Wiley, no, we're not gonna do Hogwarts today, man, because we're already at the 2-hour point. I mean,
it looks incredible. It's gonna be a fantastic game. I'm super excited.
Harry Potter,
right. The combat looks like shit. I can't believe it. I like Harry Potter, but what the hell are they doing?
Why is it multiplayer? Why no multiplayer?
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're gonna say, man. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're gonna say. Hogwarts looks fucking amazing. But anyway,
I fucking love you, chat.
Guys, thank you so much, man. Chat was awesome today, dude. It was really fucking great, and appreciate all of you being with us as usual. Love you guys, honestly. It's good to be back. So I hope you guys all have a great week ahead, and hopefully we'll see you guys again next week for another great round of conversation. You guys have anything to add?
Special shout out to Dash in the chat because he finally played Prey and he understands the
did.
greatness
He
that is
did.
Arcane.
Yes, he
He
did, my
listened.
fucking
He
son.
remembered the conversation we had when we were
And
on
he
the
beat
beach
it.
together. I looked right into his eyes. I was like, Daniel.
Wow. I
Good
want a
man.
And
conversation
then
like
the
that.
rest is history.
Good man. Good
That's
man,
all I
Dash.
got.
Amen. Good man, Dash. You get that
good
shout
shit.
out. Eric, I know you're gonna play Max Payne 3, so anyway, hopefully you will. Anyway, guys, I hope you
Yeah,
guys
all this
have a-
Max Payne talk has me wanting to smoke a cigarette and drink some whiskey or something.
Definitely.
Pop some random pills in the cupboard.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Yep. Okay.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, game's over.
All right, guys. Have a good.